comedy fans? Welcome to another episode of the Comedy at the Carlsoncast. I'm your host. My name is Vinny. And joining me in studio today, it's the angry retail guy himself, Scott Seiss. Today's episode and every episode is brought to you by Comedy at the Carlson, where you'll be able to see Akash Singh one night only, June 15th, and Matthew Bouchard, June 16th and 17th. Tickets for those shows and all shows are available now at carlsoncomedy.com. And now, let's kick it over to the studio. Good morning, Carlson casters. Welcome to another show. I want to thank you for finding us this morning. If you're watching us live right now on YouTube, make sure you're hitting subscribe, turn on those notifications. Now, my guest today is not only a fantastic stand-up comedian, he's an actor and a genuine bona fide TikTok sensation. He's currently touring the country, performing stand-up this weekend right here at Comedy at the Carlson in Rochester, New York. Tickets are available at carlsoncomedy.com. Scott Seiss.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, you're welcome, man.
I'm so excited to be here. Your studio looks amazing.
Thank you.
Look at this place. The whole operation. You got all this fun, nerdy stuff in the background.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem. I've been told
toys.
I have been told that this background is, quote, cluttered. And I would argue that I don't care.
You can't see
my retort.
Outside of the frame. It's just there's empty space above you.
Yes,
it's all jammed in there to get in the frame of the video.
Don't blow the illusion for the people watching. Okay. Literally, the rest of the room is empty. Yeah. Every possession that I have is crammed into a 6-foot square behind me.
I'm ruining the magic. I'm like, we're not even in the same room. I'm in Montana right now. Vinny is in Rochester. I'll be there tonight.
Well, for those of you who are watching live, feel free to join in the conversation in the comments. Vic says, come to Ontario, Canada. Vic, Rochester first. Rochester first. Now, man,
Canada's on the list. It's on the list soon.
You had a killer set last night.
Oh, thank you, dude. It was a blast last night. The show was so good, man.
How about that for a Thursday?
For a Thursday, the energy was hot. Everyone wanted to come in, and I guess they just got off work and they wanted to complain about their jobs. And that's what I'm best at. I'm like, come in, rant about things, bring your manager, yell at them.
If you were a pro wrestler, they would say you have what's called a gimmick.
Yes, yes, I have a gimmick.
Yeah.
I have no issue saying I have a gimmick.
Listen, you go to the prom with what brought you, because you have listen, folks, I want to tell you something. I've heard of comedians using social media as a tool. Scott has mastered the tool. You're the Bob Vila of the tool for stand-up comedy, because for TikTok particularly, it's an interesting story because you started in comedy quite a while ago. You're like a comedy veteran. When did you actually start doing stand-up?
I'm like coming up on 10 years at this point of doing stand-up. I started doing it like right when I was my first year of college. I joined like the improv troupe. A couple of those guys did stand-up in Baltimore, and so I would go into the city with them and do open mics. So yeah, I've been doing stand-up a long time.
Okay, so we're talking a decade of experience. Now, you're a Maryland guy, right?
Yes, I'm from Dundalk, Maryland, which is like right outside of Baltimore City, and went to college at UMBC, and started doing comedy in Baltimore City proper.
Okay, so you're doing comedy down in Baltimore. The next logical step for Scott, for most stand-ups, on the East Coast, is they want to go to New York City.
Yes.
And you had what some people would call a bit of a timing issue.
Yeah, yes, that's right.
With your trip to New York. Could you tell everybody what happened when you moved to New York to pursue your dreams of stand-up comedy, Scott?
Yes, I was like, I'm going to the big city. I'm putting myself out there. And my wife and I moved up there in like summer of 2019. And so we had like about 5 or 6 months where I could like really, go out after work every night, do comedy. And then immediately everything was shut down because of COVID. Like it's just 6 months later.
Wow.
And I was working from home. It was so funny, man. Like the timing of it was just crazy. Like I'd gotten on a sketch troupe. I was getting into that mode, like not only just doing stand-up, but doing other like live comedy stuff. And then it's all shut down. That's when I turned to TikTok.
Yeah. Now, before we get into this part of the journey, this is like the preface of a crossroads that you ended up at, I would say, because I really am interested in how this all worked out for you. Because, when it comes to stand-up, most people who are just getting into the stand-up industry work a day job. They all do something.
Yeah.
The same way if you go to LA, every waiter is going to tell you they're an actor.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in New York. There are stand-up. It's lousy with stand-up comedians. They're everywhere. Chalker box full of stand-ups in New York.
That's right.
So you in Maryland though worked a job. You were working at IKEA.
Yes, I was working at IKEA. I worked at the call center. For some reason, the call center like for the U.S. For IKEA is located in Nottingham, Maryland. Randomly, it's like the White Marsh store for IKEA in White Marsh, Maryland is like one of the first U.S. locations for the chain.
Now, I find IKEA to be very strange to begin with.
Yes,
because like whenever you go to the store, I have no idea what any product is actually called. Like
yes.
it all has a weird name.
Jorgen. Yeah, whatever it is.
Exactly. Like, what is it? Scandinavian, Norwegian?
Jürgen. It's Swedish.
Swedish.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's Swedish. Forgive me.
Oh,
So
how dare you?
Yeah. I'm wondering to myself, like, how do you pick up that stuff over the phone? It's like somebody's calling you and like, yeah, I need help with my flim flam over here. And my like what how do you even know?
Plug the Fjern into the Wurgelschnatzel. It's so I was doing not only like so I did a little bit of the phone stuff, but I was also doing Twitter complaints. That was like my main thing for them. Like it was like I was DMing with people who were like trying to build something and we're just getting frustrated. And it's a lot of like, send me a picture of what you're looking at. And they're like sending a photo of a desk that's like, you know, just this mangled heap of balsa wood or whatever.
Yeah.
And
fix that, Twitter guy.
Yeah. I'm like, you might want to, you know, go to a different store.
If you're having that much trouble, folks, go to Google, not Twitter. All right.
Yeah, exactly. But I did so we would talk to people, like we would get the issues from them and then we'd like get on the phone if it really like persisted into an issue. But it was a lot of like people typing in all caps, just completely pissed off. And that's what I would deal with. But the IKEA stuff, so all that's like real, you know, that was stuff that my coworkers and I would complain about, and that's what I turned into videos.
Yeah. So no one blames you for wanting to pursue stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
When the alternative is listening to people scream about not being able to put together Swedish furniture.
That's right.
Via the internet. So, you know, going to New York was a big move, man. You were taking a step away from like a job, you know, you're moving your wife, your family, you're relocating. And we go back to 2019 and you guys are completely out of luck because every venue that offers comedy is not, I mean, it's outlawed. Stand-up was outlawed.
It was illegal. It was outlawed. You know, it was like it really was like comedians were lost for a little bit. Everyone's trying to do like Zoom comedy. I was doing Zoom comedy for a while. Like,
what were your impressions of that?
It was fine. I tried to do stuff that like you couldn't do. I only did a few of them, but whenever I did a stand-up show on Zoom, I would always like put I would use a filter to put someone else's face on my face. So I was doing like stand-up as Jeff Bezos or something like that, or like as, you know, as like who else? I did it as like the green M&M. Like I just put like the green M&M's like face on my face. And was trying. It was, listen, we were all experimenting during this time.
And you know, when you're doing those Zoom shows, there's no right or wrong.
No.
You can do whatever you want to.
Because no one knew what the hell to do. It was like, it was a brand new kind of area. But like I said, I only did a few. And then so then I was like, because I used to do videos on like YouTube and like sketches, never consistently. But I had some sort of background in it. And TikTok was like taking off. And so I downloaded it and I was like, I'm just going to try to, you know, get something going on here. So I made like a whole bunch of different videos. Nothing really stuck.
What was the first attempt? What was your first kind of?
The first like big hit was like, I did this, just a little video where it was Scrooge meets Jeff Bezos. And it was basically like Scrooge. Like it was like, you know, Jeff Bezos comes in and is like, no one can go to the bathroom, and Scrooge is like, Jesus Christ, man, calm down. Like I'm greedy too, but you're fucking nuts or whatever. Can we curse on this?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Sure. My camera stops freezing. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just gonna freeze on me going, fuck. Yeah, it was great. So that broke through, and then I was like, I knew that in social media, I was like, I know I have to have like some sort of brand. So even then I thought like, well, I'm the Scrooge meets Jeff Bezos guy. Every video I make is going to be Scrooge meets Jeff Bezos. And then I made a second one. It didn't do well. And I was like, all right, forget it. We'll find something new.
Really? You hit the sophomore slump and you gave up on that idea?
I hit the sophomore slump. I went, you know what? It doesn't have legs. It doesn't have legs. The Scrooge, you know, he's got to meet other people. I don't know. So I cut that out. And then I saw like,
I don't know. That could be a reoccurring character. It
should
doesn't
I
have
bring
to be
it back?
I'm not telling you what to do.
Okay, maybe I'll do the rest of the
Far
podcast.
be it from me to tell you what
as
to do.
Scrooge, yeah. But I did these IKEA ones, and that's like what stuck, or that like exploded overnight. And then I just sat down and I was like, I just kept making them, and they kept doing well. And now it's like, a couple of years later, I'm still doing them, and
Okay.
they're still like hitting. It's just been wild.
Give me an estimate. How many angry retail guy TikToks do you believe you've made over the last 4 years?
I don't actually know. I know that it's at least there's at least like 7 minutes worth, and most of them are like 15 seconds long. I mean, if I had to guess, I would say like maybe 30.
Okay.
I'm looking at my wife. Does that sound right? She thinks more. She's like, you've made 100, and I'm tired of it.
Okay. Let's split the difference. Let's say you made 50. We'll just say it for now.
Let's just say that.
It's far be it from me. I don't want to start any marital problems here.
But there's so much to mine there. Like every time I think I'm out of them, one, they're still fun to make, and that's why I keep making them.
Yeah.
People like enjoy them. But it's also like every time I think, well, is there another? Have I done like all this stuff to complain about? I get like I get DMs from people all the time who work these jobs, and it's like, oh no, yeah, I haven't done one on PTO, like request denied or whatever. Like I just did that one, a few months ago, but like that was one that was like, oh yeah, that could be a good one. But people have no end to complaining about their jobs.
It'll never stop.
And I'm happy to oblige by, putting it on my.
All right. Well,
feed.
Make sure that you, when you come to the shows this weekend, make sure you stop Scott and to tell him about your experience with your boss. I love it.
There's a whole section of the show. Where I just like to ask people like if they want to complain about it. But we had like last night we had someone from like Aldi and like someone from Lowe's that were talking about, I give space to vent. Unlike your actual job, I say, what do you hate about working?
Okay. So let's backtrack. You got, let's say 50 videos.
Sure.
How many views are we talking here?
Oh my God. It's so crazy because because TikTok, people take them and put them on other stuff that isn't me. So it's hard to even gauge that. But on just on my pages alone, these videos have like we're talking like 300 million views or something. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. And then on other pages, I know that my stuff is like shared to Reddit sometimes, and like I don't have any way of measuring that. The way that I first exploded, someone took my videos, took like 15 of them, it wasn't even me, and put them on Twitter. It was like a meme account.
Interesting.
And they put them on Twitter, and that is how it really exploded. And like my managers found me, my agents found me, Elizabeth Banks found me. Like that's how a lot of people saw it, was from this person who wasn't me,
from this TikTok, or not saw your TikToks on Twitter,
saw them on Twitter from this like meme account that I think the account got like deleted because it was just like sharing people's stuff, but it actually like gave me a career. It's so funny. Like,
a lot of people get very upset when their content is shared that way.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're one of the people that it worked out for.
Yes. If there's anything from my story that you take away, it's that you should steal content and share. No, I'm kidding. But
make it your own, folks. You heard, man. Make it your own.
It was, it worked out for me, but I also knew like when I was making TikToks, I knew that was kind of like, that was the bargain I had to make, because TikTok is all about taking material and editing it, remixing it. And I knew that I didn't have control over if someone was going to use my stuff.
Sure.
You hope that it comes back to you. And in my case, luckily it did. It came back. People found me in my own pages. But I know a lot of the time it doesn't work out like that. But with the internet, it's like you can't control that stuff. It's kind of like you have to make peace with that.
Now, here's the thing that I really enjoy about your story.
Okay.
You're someone who went to pursue stand-up.
Yes.
And you took another path.
Yes.
And that other path has brought you back exactly where you want to be.
Right back to
bigger
stand-up.
And better than you would have been had there not have been a pandemic.
Yes.
You are one of the only people I have ever met that this thing worked out for, Scott. You're one of the only people.
I know. Man, I count, I'm very lucky in that way that it ended up working out. I was on the brink, man, like all comics. Like I think we all went through this during the pandemic. Like I was going to like just quit comedy. I was going to like really, like do it as a hobby, like like once a month maybe or something. I was like, I can't do it. Like I was in like that grind mentality of going out like as many mics a week as possible. And I was at the point where I was like, I'm gonna quit. And then the IKEA videos went viral, and I was like, I'm all in, baby. Forget it. I'm back.
I'm gonna be huge. I'm gonna own IKEA one day. You'll see.
That's right.
So, Scott, you mentioned earlier Elizabeth Banks, actress, director, fantastic director.
She's brilliant. She's so funny.
So she directed movies that I never thought I would ever watch or like.
What do you mean? Like the
Pitch Perfect ones?
movies? Yeah, she did the second one. Yeah, she directed
my wife
the second
puts
one.
it on. I'm like, okay, this is not bad. And she's like, she directed. I went, what? Really? What a
And
talent.
she's great in them. She's so funny in them too. Yeah,
she's great. Love Elizabeth Banks. So she finds you on TikTok, and who contacts you? They contact your management. They contact you directly. What happens?
So it was her. So her and her husband Max Handelman, who's like her producing partner. They really liked the videos. But how I got contacted was the casting director for Cocaine Bear sent me a Facebook message, like in the middle of like all of the videos going viral. I was getting like notifications. All my phone's like constantly vibrating. I'm like vibrating from energy, and they sent me a Facebook message, and it went to my spam folder because I wasn't like friends with the person.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Went message right requests, whatever.
Message requests, yeah. And of course, like the only the little preview of the message was just cocaine in all caps, right? So I was like, all right, well, this is spam or something. That's not real. That's someone like.
But click.
Yeah. Okay. But click. Let me just check to make sure. And it's like a movie directed by Elizabeth Banks, produced by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, who are also like amazing. And I had not looked at it for days because I thought it was like a joke or something. And I write back and I was like, oh, please tell me I didn't miss this. Like, can I still audition for this? And they were like, yeah. We want you to read for this part. And they were like, who's your agent? And I didn't even have one at the time.
Okay.
So I was like, they were like, where can we send the script or whatever? And I was like, I have a Gmail address. And I just gave them my like email. Okay. I was like, send it to me. And, but luckily by the time they were actually reading for the part they wanted me for, I got representation. Okay. And then they sent me like the little audition sides. It was like a little bit of the scene. And my wife and I, we filmed the audition. It was the first audition I'd ever filmed. And
because again, we're talking middle of pandemic, you're filming this audition. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. This is the middle of, this is like the middle of COVID.
Did your neighbors think you were insane?
You know what? They probably already thought I was insane from the TikToks. Like I said, me in the TikTok was much louder than me in the audition for Cocaine Bear. Like me going like, get the hell out of the store. The meatballs ain't that good. Like that was what I was screaming. And then Cocaine Bear was like, it was all in the eyes. There wasn't like any screaming. It was all in the eyes of like, holy shit. So got the part. Never thought it would happen. Like I did the audition. I didn't hear back for like a month and a half. And I just thought like, well, that was kind of fun. I got to audition for this, weird horror movie. And then my manager called and said I got the part. And that was like literally like a fall to my knees moment. I was like, holy shit. I called my wife while she was at work. And I was like, I got the part, Cocaine Bear. And she worked at this like physical therapy office. She like ran outside, and all of her coworkers thought someone had died. You know what I
mean? Oh no. She's like, my husband's going to be insufferable now.
Yeah, that was the real tragedy.
That's what my wife would be out there saying. God. If I had an ounce of success in my life, she'd be like, he's never going to stop.
She's like, we're going to have to buy like 4 Blu-ray copies of this. Oh, Christ. Yeah, so.
And a Blu-ray player.
It was a blast. We literally, and that was the moment, because I had a different day job when we were living up in Jersey. We were living in Jersey. I was working in New York, but I had a different day job. And we both that was the point where I was like, okay, we're just going to quit. And I'm just going to go all in on this comedy thing. Mm-hmm. And we went to Ireland. It's shot in Ireland. So we got to go to Ireland for like 6 weeks.
They shot that movie in Ireland?
In Ireland, on the Emerald Isle. It was so beautiful.
Wow. I had no idea.
I think it was cheaper. I'm not sure, but I have no idea why it was Ireland. But I'm glad it was Ireland because we got to go to Ireland and it was beautiful. And then I think they did. It's so funny, yeah, because the movie takes place in, the South. Yeah, I got to get spoiler alert, but I got to, die in a movie and it was absolutely amazing.
In a really fun way. That was something else, my man. Something else.
Thanks, dude.
So, folks, don't forget, Scott's going to be here for 4 more shows this weekend. You can get your tickets right now at carlsoncomedy.com. Don't hesitate. Last night, we were pretty full up last night. So jump on them now. Grab them before they're gone. Now, your stand-up, man, you have a lot of energy on stage.
Oh, thank
you are
you.
a lot of fun to watch.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where I guess the moral of the story, folks, is 10-year comedy veteran doing open mics, preparing to do stand-up, gets the opportunity to do something really big and is totally prepared to jump right onto a stand-up stage.
Thank God. Thank God I was prepared.
Listen, man, people, you don't realize there are people, this club, we don't book them, but there are people who do social media stuff that don't have stage shows, but will put out stage shows anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
the people that do it in the reverse, they go to stand up after they've gotten popular from something else, which, I was, you don't think about it when you're in it. Like when you're doing like open mics for, that like years and years and years. But once I got the opportunity to headline, it really was, thank God I've been doing this, enough time that I know what to do on stage.
So that's really what it is.
Yeah.
You said doing it in reverse. And listen, I don't want to knock anybody's hustle. If stand-up comedy is your dream and you want to pursue it,
oh yeah,
by all means, get after it. And just because you had success in somewhere else, but doesn't mean that you can't be successful, performing. But in this particular scenario, Scott's a damn good comic.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, man. I really appreciate that. And it's fun because a lot of people that come to the shows obviously, know the videos, which is like that's an aspect of what I do in the show, but most of it is just my stand up, like my personal stuff and bits, and I get it all the time where it's like after a show, people come up and they're like, "We didn't know that you were gonna like have a whole stand up show. Yeah, like we didn't know that you did that." And I'm like, yeah.
It's fun when you get to like just kind of appear out of nowhere, build an audience, and then wow them with all of the preparation that you've put into it.
It's like I said, man, I'm lucky. It's been a wild ride the past 2 years.
And for those of you who, obviously, some people go like, hey, you did 50 videos and you said, well, they added up to 7 minutes.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
not what you're going to see. This is a great stand-up show. You have some really funny openers, Michael Cologne and my boy Ryan Garcia's insane. I think he's great.
They're great.
So
the show's a lot longer than 7 minutes. Yes. That's for sure.
I want to make sure we point that out. The show is longer than 7 minutes. But Scott, I can't thank you enough for coming in this morning and talking with me. We're very excited to have you, and I'm sure you'll be back again sometime. But folks, don't miss this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you're following Scott at Scott Seiss.
Yes.
On TikTok, the Instagram, the YouTube channel,
Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all of it.
All right, don't get pushy.
Oh, sorry.
Facebook, YouTube too. All right.
Just do like 3 out of the 5. Just do 3 out of the 5.
Make sure you get him on MySpace and follow his SoundCloud, and you're really going to enjoy Scott Seiss. Everybody. We will be back next week with a brand new episode. Until then, act right, Rochester. Get your tickets at carlsoncomedy.com, and we'll see you at the show. Thank you for being awesome and watching another episode of the Carlsoncast. Don't forget we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube every Friday morning. You could also follow us on social media on Twitter and Instagram at Carlsoncast. You can listen anytime on iTunes, Google Play, and we're now available on Spotify. You should also check out an amazing app called Laughable. And on the Laughable app, you can connect to your favorite comedians in a way you never thought you could before. Download it in the App Store and visit carlsoncast.com for information on more shows. And don't be a jerk. Rate